Hello and welcome to Painting the Cape. My name's Lance, and today we're going to paint a beach shack by the water. We're going to start off, here are the steps we're going through. First, the drawing, that we're going to do the drawing in purple, and then we're going to fix our palette up for the colors, and then we'll color in the sky, and then we'll fix our palette again and do the water and the rest of the painting, and then we'll finish up with the finished painting. So here we go. Now I'm going to do the drawing with just a rag and a little bit of turp to thin it out, so it's real thin like that, and just broad, wide strokes. So the first thing we do is put the horizon line all the way across, so we can work our perspective off that. Then we're going to start the roof of the shack coming down like that. So we're just basically doing a floor plan first. Now right here, this line is wrong, so I'm going to correct that. What's nice about working with the rag and turp, I can just remove this line here. So it's very loose and broad strokes, because I can always cut in and make those strokes thinner. Then the floor of the shack is going to be like an overhang, like this, like that. And let's see. We're going to put a little man sitting in a rocking chair here. So we just make broad strokes like that of a person sitting. With a rocking chair. See, it's very loose and light, so I can change it easily, like that. Now, going back out to the ocean, we're going to have, it's pretty straight here, but as it gets closer, it's going to start angling and getting wider apart. So to give the right perspective, it's wide, then it's closer and closer together as you go towards the horizon. Now, let's mark in where the waves are. And they're kind of little scallops that kind of overlap each other like that. Like that. And on the ground here, we're going to use little ovals, because with the oval, you can give the illusion that it's going back, and also it's kind of dipping down a little bit. Just kind of put them in there like that. And let's see. Let's put some beams, because we're seeing underneath the roof. And what you can do when you're watching the video, you can always stop it and rewind it, because I'm moving pretty fast here. Also, like for example, this horizon, I got to take that out because there's going to be a wall there. Then just turp in my rag and just wipe it out. It makes it easy to erase and keep changing it until you get it the way you want. And let's see. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the sky. And the sky will be in flat color. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4 colors. And that's where we are now. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to mix our colors to put on the sky. So those are the colors we're going to be using. Okay, so when I'm mixing my color on my palette, I make big pools of paint. Don't skip on the paint. Put a lot of paint down. And I've got to decide which direction is the light coming from. So let's say it's coming from the right. So the left will be darker, and then it gets lighter and lighter and warmer as it goes across. So we'll take our rag and just throw the color in there. We start with it's ultramarine blue and white. And when you're doing the sky, go up and down. The next color is a little warmer, which is kind of more of a turquoise. And just scrub it in there with your rag. Nice and loose, like that. And the next color after that, get a little warmer, a little more yellow in it. And then the last strip, gray it out a little bit, but it's still nice and warm. I've got to move my clip here. A little turp, stretch it a little bit. So now, after we have our colors in like that, they're just flat strips of color, then we soften the edges, make this edge go into this edge. And the next edge into the next one. And the last one. Then overall, if you feel like the blue needs to come this way a little bit more, since the water is going this direction, let's make the other lines go a little bit this way, like this. Now I notice that this sky over here is a little bit too greenish. So I add a little more color in there. of blue. So it's not so greenish. And then the last panel, it's a touch grayer. And gray and black and white act as if it's blue, but it's just duller. So there we have the sky. Okay, so now let's prepare the next color for the next section right here for the ocean and the land. You work from the background to the foreground. So now check out the colors and we'll add those onto the painting. Okay, here we go. Now that we have the colors mixed, let's go back and confirm the drawing a little bit. You always want to be drawing and correcting the drawing. And what we're going to do, we're going to use burnt sienna to draw with. And just hold your brush like you're holding a drumstick. And do the drawing. A little darker, and making corrections as you go. You need to bring that roof out a little bit more. So now's the time to make corrections. And there's going to be a post here. On the post for right now, I'm just going to do a straight line. And then the porch, foreshortening back. Then the other post a little bit further away. Like that. I'm pushing the brush down. I put it there and I really push it down so it's steadier. And I do the floor. And the other, so I'm foreshortening. Now to do the little person, I'm using a number 8, and they're little boxes. We figure out which way are these little boxes angled at. The head's looking this way. The body is kind of coming down like this. And the seat goes back a little bit. And then the feet, mark out where the feet are going to end up. Let's see, right there, and let's say right there, little wedges. and then you go out and then back, out and back. The arms go out and back like that. We'll put a little hat on him. So now that angle of that brim is not in the right place. So I just take a little Kleenex and just take it off and try it again. So I'm going to have him angling a little bit more back. And the hat's more up because he's looking out towards the ocean. And then to put the seat in, first I do the base of the seat, and then the backrest, like a regular chair. But I'm going to make it a rocking chair. Also, I think I'm going to add a little window here, part of the shed. As it goes further away from you, it gets smaller. Closer to you, it's bigger. Now let's add the shadow on the wall, so you kind of figure out the man's shadow, roughly where it's going to be. Remember, we can always erase it and just keep doing it until it kind of feels good to you. Like that. Now let's do the waves. They're kind of like scallops. And as they get closer to you, they get bigger. Like that. And then on the waves coming across, the first one is pretty far away. And as you move into the distance, they start leveling up to the same angle as the horizon until it's pretty much in a straight line. And on the sand going down to it, what I'm doing is I'm doing little ovals, and how the ovals kind of go, if the sand is going downhill, the little beach is going downhill to the water, kind of dip these down towards it. And it's the same type of thing. When the ovals are closer to you, the ovals are bigger. As they get further away, they get smaller, like that. Okay, now the color we just mixed, let's put that in. And let's see. Far away, it's going to be darker. Darker and duller than the sky. So way out here by the horizon, it's pretty dark. Just go right through those poles, the posts, and we'll redo those posts later. Just go across it like that. If you're not getting enough paint on here, you could do this whole thing once again with a rag if your brush is too small, or if you feel more comfortable drawing with your hand. Whatever works for you. Get a little sauce on there, a little terp, and just really stick it in there. Don't be afraid of it. Just stick some paint on there, like that. Now, as the ocean gets closer to you, these bands get a little wider, like that. They get bigger and they get a little lighter, like that. Now on these, the surf coming in and going onto the sand, I'm kind of using a purple. With a little bit of and once again, as the surf gets closer to you, it gets a little darker from right to left. Now we're going to draw a couple lines from where the light is coming in so we can exaggerate that a little bit. So let's say the light's coming from here. Take our purple. You know, a wave goes up and then it goes down, goes up, goes down, and then it's flat. And then the other section goes over here more, let's say, and goes flat. Now we're going to take to clean your brush, whatever color you're going into. Let's say I'm going into a little bit of a gray, white, and a little bit of gray. Start off with grayish tones, grayish bluish tones, and then as the wave gets more closer to me, I'll whiten them up a little bit. But I get a lot of paint on here, and so to clean my brush, what I do is I just dip it in, wipe it off, and then the brush is clean enough to put a bunch of paint down. So I go like this, figure out where the wave is going to be, and just flip the brush around like that, thin and thick, going out. As it gets further away, it's less. Let's work it across like that. As it goes further back, it gets thinner. And then take some wider paint, and where it's closest to you, hit it more. Like that. See how I'm kind of bouncing around on this? I'm just kind of bouncing the paint so I get paint coming off like that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my palette knife. I'm going to go from here forward like that. And also here going back a little bit. So you have a little bit of motion of which way the waves are going. Like that. You just push it down and feel the dip in the wave like this. And then go from the other direction back all the way out. And the further you go away, the less you do that. Then I go back and maybe, let's say, going back a little bit further, higher, you have a little bit of light on it. So add just a little bit of, not very much, just a little bit of yellow into it, or mainly white, and kick it again, like that. And you gotta leave, I'm putting a lot of paint on. There's globs of paint here, like that. Now the front here, right at the very front, we're going to outline where the wave came up, like that. And with a little bit of blue in it, not much, but a little bit, we're going to wander these things around like that. There you go. Now we're going to take our small brush and we're going to give it a little bit of darkness right under the wave where there might be a shadow of the wave. Not real strong, but so you see a dip there. It might be some of your green and a little bit of your burnt sienna, and just catch where the shadow would be on the wave, like that. And also in the front there, right underneath there. Now right where we drew these two lines going across, we're going to make that a little bit lighter, as if the sun is right here and it's going to be hitting down there. It's going to be a little brighter, so warm up the water a little bit there. Like that. And then on those edges there, soften this edge a little bit so you don't see those marks as much, like that. The other thing about doing a rag is you can do nice soft edges. Now let's do the sand. My brush has white paint in it, so first I dip it into get whatever paint I can get out of there, and then I'm using burnt sienna and a little a little yellow ochre. And follow these make them in the shape of these ovals. And kind of stagger them so one's a little bit brighter than the other. Don't be worried about making different colors. Just, you want to keep them warm and also with a little bit of grayness in there, purple. You keep doing those little shapes all the way down to the water. Now, right after the foam of the wave, there's a little bit of blue to match the sky. The sky's reflecting there. So we put a little apron around here. Like that. As it gets further away, what you can do is you start painting with the fresh brush like that, where you want it to be definitely coming out. And then as you go further away, your brush is losing paint, so it makes it automatically duller. Now let's finish off doing the rest of the sand. So as I go further back, it's going to get a little grayer. So you have to adjust your colors as you go along. So as it goes further away, it gets a little bit duller. And as it comes forward, especially on this triangle here, you lighten it up with some lighter yellow. But I'm still concentrating on ovals because the oval gives the effect of the ground going down. You might add a little orange to it. You want it to really kick. Like that. Then to do it, it's just a straight sand color. I'm using just a touch of purple, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna, and give it a little bit of, lighten it up a little bit. So it's just a patchwork. Once we blend these together, it won't look so, it'll make it more realistic. Now in front of the porch, on the side of the porch, put a little more blue in it because the light's not really hitting there as much. And once again, if your brush isn't going fast enough for you, just use the rag, a little bit of turp, and just stick it in there. Just cover it in like that. You can always take it off and come out with it. Like that. Okay. Now, let's go on to the porch. Let's see. I'm going to use some of that green. It's sap green with a little bit of burnt sienna, just a slight amount. And I'm going to go between the rafters like this, and kind of the greenish kind of showing through like that, and just zing it in there. As it goes back, it automatically gets a little duller because you're running out of paint. and go like that. I gotta move my clamp. And get in the corner here. Now there's going to be a shadow going across the porch where the sun can't hit. From here, so I'm going to angle it up a little bit. You exaggerate, then you can back it off a little bit with some other paint. And also on the floor, get some turp just to get in there. Then on the back wall, just make it a little less and a little warmer than the other parts. So the light's hitting here. So I'm still using that, a little bit of that purple. And you kind of work around your figure. Now when you're working around your figure, kind of shape it. In other words, if something's sticking out too far, just cut it in. We're going to have a lesson, a special lesson, just on how to mix color, and that's going to help a lot. Now, on the part that's not, that the light is coming through, let's say it's a green floor, you make that real light and use your rag and stick it in there. Don't be afraid of it, because we can always cut it in and we can always take it off like that. And then on the end, so I keep getting a new spot on my rag so it's clean. Like that. Now let's go back in and get those poles back in. So now we're going to use burnt sienna again, add a little purple to it, which will make it darker. First we do a straight line. Push it down and pull it down. Don't worry about it. Just do it. Now we're going to also maybe some kind of connection right here where it meets the building, some kind of a pole or something. And also where it's darker here. and then up. I'm going to add a little kitty cat. You can add things or not, whatever you'd like to do. I'm going to put a little kitty cat right here, which is a small square, a longer, bigger square, and then a bigger square. Make sure you get the ears, because ears kind of tell you what it is. And do the shadow the same way. A square, add 2 ears, and come across like that. That'll add to it. Let's go back and make sure we got that little man right. Do his hat. Like that. Now on the distant shore, way out there, we want to bring the same colors we have here out there so the eye pulls across the ocean. So it's kind of orangey, something that's kind of contrary to the color of the ocean. Like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our palette knife again, get some lemon yellow, something really bright, and you flatten it out like that. And you have to have 2 palette knives. I get this one all set, and then after I have it set like that, I go like this and run a bead all the way down. So you see the bead. And right where the horizon is, bring this bead across. Like that. And we're going to do the same thing. Well, before we do that, let's give a little shape to those posts. Make a little rounder here, and perspective there. A little rounder here, perspective, and square to give it a little bit more. A little bit more shape. Same thing here. Now we're going to do a little light on the edge and a little warmer. So add a little bit more cadmium yellow medium to it. Make a bead. So you have it on your knife like that. Clean your knife off and load it up again. And put it where on the right side of the post where the light would be hitting it. So rim lighting. And right in front here, where it's hitting the front step, there. Oh, the thing we forgot is this post is going to have a shadow going from the light this way across. And this is going to go across too. And then you're going to add a little bit of definition to this guy. And maybe a little bit of a darker shadow underneath the deck. And then this shadow goes here, goes down, and then out. Like that. And this one goes down like that. Now we can go back and we can soften these edges a little bit here. Add some color out here a little bit, different spots. And you just kind of keep fooling with it until you get it the way you like. I might add a little more yellow here. From there down here, like that. And walk this light down. Okay, here we have it. Here's the finished painting. And you just keep working on the details until you get it the way you like. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next time.